All right, what's going on, everyone? We got Dr. Stone episode 3 today. Saturday, we have, I believe, Sakamoto episode 3. So, TMS is doing really good this season. We got Adrian in the chat. Adrian, how you doing? What's up? Adrian, did you watch Dr. Stone? If you did, what did you think of the episode? And I'm going to extend that question to everybody. What did you guys think of the Dr. Stone episode? So I watched it earlier today. Overall, I thought today's episode was really, really good. I did hate one thing, but we will talk about it. We got Ishan in the chat. Ishan said, "Are you following Solo Leveling?" Yes, I don't read the web book, whatever it's called, web book, manhwa, but I am caught up on the anime. Is today the new episode? I can't remember. Excuse me, but I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2, and they look really, really good. It's been kind of a slow start compared to season 1, but I can tell that it's going to pick up really fast. We got Edens in the chat. Edens, what's good? How you doing, man? What's going on? What's up? We got Josh in the chat. Josh, how you doing? Pleasure to see you as always. Mugen, how you doing? Glad to see everybody today. I'll ask the same question. What do we think of Dr. Stone today? Are we thinking like 6 out of 10? 8 out of 10? Thought TMS was on the State of Man Globe for a second. Chilling from work. Nice. Also, the Crash, Axel, and Trenton video came out a couple of days ago. Yeah, I watched the first hour of that. I thought it was... I think it's pretty good. I still have to watch the last hour of it. I'll probably listen to that later today when I make dinner. I really liked what they had to say for a lot of those manga. I think most of their rankings are pretty fair. I did not see what they said about some of the bigger or some of the newer manga, like Ichi the Witch or Kiyoshi, but I saw what they said about Astro Royale, and I thought their ranking of Astro Royale was very fair. So far so good. I definitely think if you guys haven't checked out the rookie ranking video, it's like a 2-hour long discussion of all the new manga that started in 2024 for Weekly Shonen Jump. Go check that out. It's on Manga Crash's channel. Highly recommend it. And I also recommend subscribing to Trenton, Axel Ablaze, and Manga Crash. I consider them must-watch channels for anyone who is a serious manga fan. Excuse me. Sipping on some chamomile tea. I typically drink English black tea. I used to drink like 1 cup of black tea a day, but I'm on a no caffeine tick, so I switched over to chamomile last week, and I have to say, chamomile tea, underrated. 100% underrated. Mugen said, if you know that former animation studio. No. I'm not familiar with Man Globe. I would have to look them up. Anyway, so let's talk about Dr. Stone, Sakamoto, and TMS. So to set the stage, what happened right before this season was actually let's step back a little bit before then. So they announced, so before they like officially announced Sakamoto Days and who was gonna do it, it was like the same conversation as like every other anime. Oh, Mappa should do it. Oh, Ufotable should do it. Oh, Bones should do it, etc., etc. All the same studios that everyone names. So that was sort of the state of things prior to the anime announcement. So I don't remember how long ago it was. It was quite a bit of time now. Quite a bit ago, I would imagine. But obviously they came out and they're like, hey, Sakamoto Days is coming out. It's going to be on Netflix and TMS is doing it. And everyone freaked out. They're like, oh God, TMS is doing it. This is no good. And the main reason people did not like this was because obviously TMS does Dr. Stone, and as aesthetically pleasing, as colorful, as detailed often Dr. Stone is, it is not known for its animation at all. Season 1 has a fair bit of fights. Season 2 has a lot of fights. Season 3 has a good amount of fights. And now Season 4 will have arguably the most fights out of any season. Season 1, great debut, was one of the most popular anime of the year. Was not was not known for its stellar animation. And let me be clear, like the composition and the overall aesthetics for Dr. Stone, always gorgeous, right? Like in particular, what really stands out about Dr. Stone is the scenery and like the backgrounds. If we're just talking about the visuals, right? Because obviously the openings and the soundtrack are really good. But just talking about the visuals, what people notice the most is like the colors and the scenery, especially with like all the nature. But what Dr. Stone has always sort of had as like a curse is like in the source material, it has a rare amount of fights, but when it does have fights, they're really, really good. And then you get to the anime, and it's like they suddenly told everybody, okay, don't really try to animate these. Which is fine, because that's not really what Dr. Stone is marketed as. It's not marketed as like a big, battle series, like a Jujutsu Kaisen or a My Hero Academia. Okay, so Mad Globe made Ergo Proxy, Samurai Champloo, Dead Man Wonderland. Okay. Yeah, because I don't think they've made anything in a while, so that makes sense. Thank you. I feel like I should take Mugen and do like a rainbow and be like, the more you know. Does this mean Dr. Stone won't continue? Well, the manga is pretty much done. And the anime only has one season left. Anyway, so point being, Dr. Stone has 3 complete seasons, and throughout all of those seasons, it has generally failed to deliver like top quality fights. The best fights in the Dr. Stone anime look okay at best. How do I so Milika says, how do you like the Dr. Stone season so far? After 3 episodes, I would say Dr. Stone is at like a solid 7 out of 10, leaning more towards 8. So Milika doesn't like the opening. That's how I felt at first, but when I like sat down and watched it, I actually really, really like it. So I would challenge you to just go listen to the song without the opening and then go back and watch it. Because if you just look at the visuals, it's kind of boring. But when you like listen to the song without looking at the opening and like kind of listen to it and like jam out to it, it's a really good song. The final battle versus Abara last season was really good. Yeah, they did a really good job with that battle, for sure. Josh said, I think TMS is stepping up in terms of being a solid studio if they can do Sakamoto Days. So far, aside from them animating stuff like Dr. Stone, Rent a Girlfriend, and Sakamoto Days, they produce 2. Right, so here's what everyone has to keep in mind about TMS. So let's look up TMS. Because I think most people would be surprised. So obviously they produce as well as animate. So, for example, they produced Undead Unluck. It was animated by Dave Pro, but it was produced by TMS. TV. So I'm looking up anime projects for TMS, and the first one was the 4th season of Rent a Girlfriend, and I just went through like a roller coaster of emotions. Excuse me. So apparently, so they produced the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse anime that I did not know. Let's see what they have for TV. Let's go by title. If I'm not mistaken, they have done like a ton of anime. I also heard, I'm assuming TMS did before 90 animation shows like Batman, Spider-Man, and X-Men. If I'm not mistaken, I think you're correct. But they're the ones who made Bakugan, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? If you're my age, then you grew up with the Bakugan anime. They're the ones who made Bakugan. We got Justin in the chat. Justin, what's going on? We're talking about TMS. So we got Bakugan. What else? They did D. Gray Man. I am not a D. Gray Man fan. I don't know about the anime, but I know a lot of people like the manga. Dr. Stone, obviously. Excuse me, 1 second. Had to sneeze for a second. Okay, so who is that? Malika said 4 Nights animation was actually pretty good. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard 4 Nights was actually really good. Milika said, "You're my favorite YouTuber to watch. Keep up the grind." Honestly, Milika, you just made my day. Thank you. I appreciate that. Honestly, I needed that. You just made my freaking day. Thank you. Let me look at chat before I keep going through this list. I was just a teen when Bakugan aired on Cartoon Network. Yep. Yeah, I was like 13, I think. Megalobox, that's another one. I know this is out of topic, but what did I think of last weekend's football games and the upsets? So I didn't watch like one or two of those games because I don't have cable and I don't have YouTube TV. I know, ironic, YouTuber doesn't have YouTube TV. I thought the Chiefs game, while it was pretty good, was also like disgustingly scripted. I cannot wait to watch the, you can't see my air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes, air quote three-peat for the Chiefs. It's going to be probably the most scripted Super Bowl we will ever experience. I can't remember. That Ravens game wasn't half bad. I will say the Chiefs game was actually pretty good in the first half, but it kind of fell apart in the second half. Also, if I didn't say hi earlier, hello, Eddie. What's going on? Pleasure to have you. Oh, and Ash Sama in the beginning said, "What anime is your favorite?" I'd say it's a three-way tie between One Piece, Dr. Stone, and Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai is either like my second or third favorite anime. Yeah, I think it's going to be most likely Eagles Chiefs. I'm ready to hear those takes about the Super Bowl. Edens, I will have to DM you Sunday because I can only watch like one of those games because I don't have YouTube TV. But yeah, I have some thoughts. Dai is goated, dude. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. I took a break one or two times, but I cannot recommend Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai enough. That shit is so good. Like, if you wanted that weekly experience, I know everyone shits on Dragon Ball Super, but the weekly experience of, okay, actually, so let me amend what I was about to say. Am I trashing on TMS in this stream? No, I'm actually defending it. But before I get back to that, excuse me. I don't want to go on too big of a tangent. I want to get back to TMS. They kind of did stretch the last 20 episodes a little bit to make it, 100. Yeah, I haven't read the manga, so I can't speak, to the pacing. I will say this. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, if you love just like a meathead series that isn't trying to be super deep and is like classic shonen, but it's like classic shonen done right, I cannot recommend Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai enough. It is one of Toei's best looking anime. It's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I wish I could take like an hour of my day and devote it entirely to watching Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. Honestly, now that I said that, I might start rewatching it. Excuse me, going on a Dragon Quest tangent here. I might need to do a Dragon Quest stream this year. Just like an ode to Dragon Quest, because it's such a good anime. Anyway, we're going to go back to TMS, but the art took a little dip in the middle at one point, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to start watching Dragon Quest. I'm just waiting for Viz to continue releasing Volume 6 of Dragon Quest. Yeah, I see what you mean. If you want to wait, I don't know how long they're going to take though, because I feel like the manga, I say the manga, but it's really Viz, has been on break as far as like releasing the English volumes for like over a year now, probably closer to 2. Anyway, before I get back to my list, and Eddie has been very hopefully listing some TMS anime in the chat if you've been paying attention. Before I get back to TMS, if you are not already, I cannot stress this enough, how important it is that you become a YouTube channel member. If you become a Shonen Ouji YouTube member today, you will instantly get access to exclusive Shonen Ouji perks like custom Dr. Stone loyalty badges. They are Kingdom of Science loyalty badges. They are made so that each tier is a certain kind of gem or metal. So it starts out with stone, then you get bronze, silver, gold, then there's platinum and, you know, like a shinier gold, and then there's diamond at the very end. So if you want some Dr. Stone YouTube personality expression, I cannot recommend becoming a channel member today. You also get exclusive Shonen Ouji custom emojis. There's a Robin one. There's a Shonen Ouji one. There's there's a Excalibur one, and then I forget what the last one is. I have more, just waiting for more members to join. Anyway, see you, Ouji. Duty calls. Okay, bye, Mugen. Thank you for stopping by. Milika said, me wanting to become a member, but I'm broke. So let me ask you this. So the bottom tier is $2.99. Would it be feasible for people who want to become members? Because I'm bringing this up just because, one, you said it, and two, I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat, especially after the holidays. Would it be more feasible if I dropped the starting tier, the opening tier, from $2.99 to $1.99? Would it be more feasible and affordable for people if they could join at $1.99 a month, US dollars? Anime Monarch said, am I the only one that thinks the journey to America went by too fast in the anime? No, that's about right. I mean, I think it was only like maybe 5 chapters. We got a donation, a super chat from Josh Kaplan. Josh, thank you. Video game controller. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Super chats, if you can't do members, super chats are also a big way to help. The reason I ask for memberships and super chats is because not only does it help me to keep this going, not only does it let me know you guys are enjoying this stuff, but it's the best way to help pay the editors and help pay them more. Because the more I can generate, the better videos I can make, the more I can get the editors for this channel paid. If I had all the money in the world, I would pay them all the money in the world. Anyway, let's get back to TMS. I've self-plugged for long enough. So we talked about Bakugan. What else? Card fight, excuse me, Vanguard, D Greyman, Dr. Stone, Fruba, they did Fruits Basket. What else? Honey Lemon Soda? So they produced Nagatoro, did not animate, they produced Nagatoro, which I love. I know a lot of people think, ironically, that it's annoying, but I really love Nagatoro. Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple, yep, which is a great anime, by the way. I thought the journey was going to take 3 to 4 episodes. Well, it's really not that long in the manga, and they only adapt like 2 chapters, 3 chapters an episode, so... OG Fruits Basket or the remaster? It's the 2019 anime, so I don't know which one that is. Just started Honey Lemon Soda. How is it? I feel like I've heard of it, but I've never really seen anyone talk about it. And I'm going to wrap this up so I can get to my point. Oh, they did Kami-sama Hajime Mashita, which is a rom-com. I know it's a romance. I don't know if it's like a romantic comedy, so to speak, but I know it's a romance. That one's supposed to be good. 2019 is the remaster. Okay. TMS did Sonic X, which I know people get annoyed of the whole dub versus sub thing. But Sonic X, love that anime. So good. And again, I know people trash on the dub, but that was my favorite show to watch when I was a kid. Especially because it was on 4Kids, so like you could only watch it on Saturdays. That was my Flintstones. Megalobox. What else? Sakamoto Days, which we're going to talk about. Sonic X. Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. Funny enough, they're the ones who did Totoko Hamtaro, which is that hamster anime. They produced Undead Unluck. They produced the Virtua Fighter anime. Interesting. I was just looking into the anime that's probably going to do Kagurabachi. Well, the company that's going to produce, that will probably produce Kagurabachi is Shichoko, I think it's called, and they produced the Fatal Fury movie, which is really good. I think that Toei could do a continuation of Dai, considering that it ended on kind of a cliffhanger. Yeah, but I feel like I don't really think there's a market for it. Anyway, point being, as far as the list I just went through, that's just TV, right? Like if we look at movies, I'm pretty sure they've done all the Pokemon movies. Let's see. They produced a bunch of Lupin the Third movies. They did one movie. They did a ton of Conan movies. Conan the Detective. What else? Oh, maybe I lied. I thought TMS did a bunch of Pokemon movies. Maybe it was OVA? I could have sworn they were the ones who did the Pokemon movies. Yeah, they did Baki. Yep. ONA. Oh, that's right. They did Baki. I could have sworn they did Pokemon. Let me see. Now this is going to kill me. Pokemon, the movie. I don't know where I got that in my head, that TMS produced a bunch of the Pokemon movies. I don't know why I thought that. They did a Dr. Stone Snickers commercial. True. I needed a Kenichi remake. Yeah, I don't know what the state of the manga is. I know the manga has to be over at this point, but I don't really know what the reception was in Japan. Never mind the West. I did a plug. So Josh said I did a plug for Sakamoto for a presentation for animation in 2025. Then I was approached by the host who asked if I reviewed Sakamoto. That was pretty cool. Thoughts on My Hero Vigilantes? That looks really, really good. I saw people on Twitter getting salty because they were like, hey, so why doesn't the mainline anime look like this? First of all, it's the first season that they've probably been working on behind the scenes for a while. Second of all, I think half of it is it doesn't look better, it just looks different. Like, I guarantee if you took the best shot of My Hero Season 1 and you take the best shot of Vigilante Season 1, they're probably going to be like right on the same tier. I think it's just they're trying to make Vigilantes look aesthetically distinguishable from My Hero Academia so that people recognize that they're two different series, but still like make the connection to My Hero Academia and Bones. So you're saying people complaining about TMS despite them making stuff people say they love? Yeah, so I keep breaking away from my point, but let me get back. I just want to read the comments here. We got Oscar in the chat. Oscar, how you doing? So anyway, here's my point, right? So my point in like bringing up TMS and so here's my point. People saw that Sakamoto Days was going to be done by TMS, and like 90% of people who, like, it should be Mappa, it should be Ufotable, it should be Bones, whatever, they all flipped out because they're like, oh great, it's going to look like Dr. Stone. The point I'm making here is that TMS has produced a ton of anime, and they've animated a ton of projects, and all of those projects look wildly different. Like, Dr. Stone looks wildly different from Megalobox. Megalobox looks really, really good. Dr. Stone also looks good. The issue is that Megalobox is a boxing series. It's a boxing story. So they focus on the fights. Dr. Stone is not a battle series. Not even close. So they don't focus on the fights. The weird thing, when you watch Dr. Stone, even just in season 4, like, go back and rewatch today's episode, or go watch today's episode. For the most part, the animation is like good. It's not great, but it's good. But look at the animation for when the fighting team, the combat team, attacks the crocodiles. It actually looks really good. It's very fluid. Excuse me. So my point is, like, they have the capability to do that. They just don't, because it's not really what people care about in Dr. Stone. Meanwhile, look at the animation for Gen when he freaks out in episode 3 of season 4, today's episode. Excuse me. What Dr. Stone focuses on, in addition to the soundtrack and, the backgrounds, excuse me, Dr. Stone focuses a lot on character animation. So like the animation overall is like just okay, but you'll get like these random bits where like a character like gets really nervous, or a character does like an emoji. Uh right, like, so basically what I'm saying is the character animation is really, really good, and that's what they focus on. Which brings us to Sakamoto days. But before I say that, Milika, thank you for the comment. I appreciate the support. That's what we're going to work for this year. We're going to try and get at least one video this year to 1 million views. I hope the Okaroon video gets to 1 million views by the end of this year, but we're going to try and get a new video to 1 million views. But we'll see. Oscar said TMS is not Ufotable or Madhouse, but I think it is still a good studio. People today expect too much from anime because of titles like Demon Slayer. Such animation is the exception, not the rule. I could not have said it better myself. I completely agree with what Oscar just said. It's great to have anime like Demon Slayer, but look up Ufotable's like portfolio for the last 5 years. It's basically all Demon Slayer. If they were making like 3 or 4 other anime, I have a feeling Demon Slayer would look a lot different. I mean, look at Mappa, right? Mappa is really, really good. But I would say they're on the threshold. They're at the precipice, if you will, of spreading themselves too thin. Because think about what they have. They have Jujutsu Kaisen. They have, and I'm just naming their like mainstream series. They have a bunch of other series. So they have Jujutsu Kaisen. They have Chainsaw Man. They have Hell's Paradise. So that's 3 big anime. What else do they have? They had Attack on Titan. Hell's Paradise. They have an anime called Zenshu. They did Ranma, however you say it, Ranma and a half. Jujutsu Kaisen. They had that one cooking isekai series. Vinland Saga. I forgot about Vinland Saga. So they have Jujutsu Kaisen, Hell's Paradise, Chainsaw Man. They just did Ranma. And Vinland Saga. So they have a nice handful of big anime that they're working on, in addition to like all the smaller projects they're trying to do. So Mappa's kind of like in the sweet spot, but you notice like Mappa, might not be as like consistent or like great as Ufotable, but Ufotable just does Demon Slayer. Like they might occasionally go back to Fate, but that's it. They do the current Ranma. That's what it says on my anime list. Ranma, if I click on it, Ranma has a bunch of producers and it is animated by Mappa. Pluto is a new anime with a new studio. Made film quality, but no one cares. Yeah. I mean, so my point is, people kind of have like these misconceptions about studios due to recency bias. But really, TMS is just as good as these studios. It has a ton of projects, produces even more. And when it does put the right people in place for certain projects, its anime look gorgeous. What If Universe said, niche thing, but what bothers me with TMS at the moment is the lack of dubbed Lupin content. Like Lupin Zero is really good, especially like for introductory series, and plenty of specials with no dubs. I know they're doing pretty good about dubbing Dr. Stone. I don't know about their other anime, so I can't really respond to that, but I will take your word for it. It's a bit funny that Vigilante is supposed to be about illegal heroes, but it seems brighter. Yes and no. It's not really that it's darker. It's just they're not licensed. So it's like the other side of Hero Society. The non-conventional one. I think Netflix is focusing on jump titles, as the last trailer for Sakamoto Days pushed those jump titles as credits. I know they put Shonen Jump in the credits, like they put the logo. So here's my point, right? Everyone like had a preconception about TMS handling Sakamoto Days. And you can see that, right? When the opening came out, everyone's like, oh, this sucks. Oh, this looks terrible. But then the like song came out with the lyrics, and everyone was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. And the first episode came out, and everyone was like, oh, this actually looks really good. And this Saturday will be episode 3. Maybe episode 4 in Japan. I don't know how that's working. Actually, can someone tell me, is Netflix an episode behind Japan? Is that a thing? Because as far as I know, they're only on like episode 2 or 3 of Sakamoto Days. But if I'm not mistaken, I saw a clip of a scene that I don't think I saw in the anime yet. So either that was a leak, or Japan is like a week ahead of Netflix. Anyway, so my point is, let me ask you this as I talk about this. What does everyone think of Sakamoto Days so far? What would we say Sakamoto Days looks like so far? I would say it looks really, really good. I think it's got that nice character animation I was talking about, like you see in Dr. Stone. And while the fights aren't like crazy, they look really, really smooth. Like they look clean. Not like Dr. Stone fights, as much as I love Dr. Stone. So I'm perfectly confident in Sakamoto Days if they stay consistent. And as Oscar points out, this is something that only a studio like TMS can really do. We're in a season where one studio is working on 2 of the major anime of the season. It's not doing like one big one and then one kind of small one. Dr. Stone and Sakamoto Days, not only are they like the biggest anime of the season, but they're 2 of the biggest shows on Netflix right now. Sakamoto Days is in like the top 10 of Netflix, and Dr. Stone is like at least top 20, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Stone is definitely top 10 on Crunchyroll right now, if I'm not mistaken. But they're both like top of the charts. And they're able to do that because they have 2 different teams. So everyone just assumes that like all MAPPA anime are going to look the same. All TMS anime are going to look the same. But the reality is, like, TMS is a great studio when they put the right team for the right project. So my point in saying all this, my big rant for all of this is Dr. Stone looks great for what they're trying to achieve. And after 3 episodes, I feel like Dr. Stone is looking better than ever. Like, today's episode was one of the best looking episodes of Dr. Stone I've ever seen. So I think season 4, at least core 1, is going to be one of its, if not the best looking season. Sakamoto Days so far also looks really, really good. I can't speak to the future of season 1 because obviously I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to divvy up their animators, I should say. But so far, it looks really, really good. So everyone was like, I don't know what the term would be, doom posting about Sakamoto Days. And a lot of people like to say that, like, Dr. Stone is dead or Dr. Stone fell off. But really, I feel like TMS is in, like, kind of a, I wouldn't say golden age, but they're sitting pretty right now. They're doing pretty freaking good. What is top anime right now? Well, it depends on your definition of top, but Sakamoto Days is like top 3, top 1 on Netflix right now. Milika said, I like Sakamoto Days, but I think that the fights feel sort of bland, kind of impactless, like the punches and gunfire feel kind of weak. I'm curious to see, obviously it's only been like 3 episodes. I'm curious to see how they continue to adapt the fights, because I think generally they're going to look really, really good. But I think as the anime continues, we're going to come to find out that they don't really adapt the, like, flow of the manga, because the action in the manga has a very unique style that I don't think translates well to anime. But I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. Eden says, I think it looks good enough. So Sakamoto Days. When I saw people talking about how bad it looked, I was expecting Blue Lock season 2 level. Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for Blue Lock fans. They had like a delayed record of Ragnarok thing where, like, they hyped the shit out of the manga, and then the first season, from what I understand, is pretty good. But then season 2, I hear, sucks. Notice the ones saying fell off are also the ones not watching. At least not watching anymore. If you've watched season 3 in its entirety and the first 3 episodes of season 4, I would say Dr. Stone is looking the best it's ever looked. Josh said, it's solid, no complaints, though my chat forum friend is really crushing hard on Shin. Yeah, Shin is probably the most popular character. He's like top 3 at least. So, What If Universe said, to be honest, the last season of Dr. Stone was hard for me to get into, but the next season's villain is enough. I will probably pick it up again. Yeah, I would say let it build up for like 5 episodes. Catch up on season 3, because season 3 is really good. and obviously you want to be up to date. But season 4 is core 1 is going to be great. Core 2 is going to be probably the best part of the Dr. Stone anime, and then core 3 will be like good, but not without problems. Eddie said getting the same feeling as Spy Family, expecting too much. Yeah, kind of. I think Sakamoto Days is like in a perfect spot of like mainstream success, but nobody's really expecting it to be like the next big thing, which is just where an anime should be. Like, that's what Dr. Stone used to be. Dr. Stone was like biggest anime of the year, like top 10. And then season 2 came out and people were like, I don't really care. Yeah. I stopped typing up seasons before they came out after The Promised Neverland season 2. God, talk about falling off. It's so funny because Promised Neverland season 1 is like probably the best first season of an anime in the last decade. And then the second season is complete garbage, like actual trash. It starts out interesting, but it's just like complete hogwash, just garbage. When it comes to my general opinion about Sakamoto Days, it's cool, but without fireworks like Dawn to Dawn or Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people feel. Unless you're like a hardcore action fan, Sakamoto Days is just kind of like, okay. Which is fine, right? Like, it doesn't need to be like the next big thing. Excuse me. A lot of people kind of force the like Gintama comparison. And that's true for like what'll probably be season 1. That's true for like the first few arcs, but that quickly becomes not the case. Like, Sakamoto Days is very much not a gag series. It does have gags, but it's far from a gag series. Gintama was very much a gag series. For the most part. So trash, my anime only friends were asking me, oh, so we're talking about The Promised Neverland, if something was coming out. That's funny. So far, I love the last season of Dr. Stone so much. The villains, the fights, and the petrification beam that made a bunch of the characters inactive, creating unique character pairings. Loved it. Yeah, they did a really good job with season 3. I'm kind of depressed that I didn't watch it when it was coming out weekly, but I watched it right before season 4, and it is so good. I personally feel like Dr. Stone just continues to get better. Anime wise. I've heard it's way more serious now and less gags. Yeah. I am not caught up at all, but once you get into like the second half of what is the story right now, so like once you get closer to the recent chapters, it's like all action and like zero comedy. There's obviously still comedy in there, but it's like 90% action. And as far as I can remember, there's like no plot. Like, there is a plot, but like, what is it? Like, the plot's just there to like push the narrative forward, and that's it. That's kind of why I didn't like intentionally drop Sakamoto Days. I kind of just stopped reading it. I keep meaning I'm probably going to try and start rereading it today because I would like to be caught up. But I'm not crazy about Sakamoto Days. I like it, but I'm not in love with it. And I think the hype for it is slightly forced. Anyway, I'm going to start to wrap things up. I'll answer the last few comments, and then I'll segue into what's coming up over the next week or so. Josh said, people I talk with feel like Jump is dying. They wanted Sakamoto Days to blow up. It's just we want new pillars now like MHA and JJK. I mean, I think Jump is in a really good spot right now. I think it's just in a transitional phase. Like, if you look at what there is to read in Shonen Jump right now, you have One Piece, right? Really, really good. You have Kagurabachi, which is in a great spot right now. You have Ichi the Witch, Ichi the Witch, as far as I have gathered, seems to be everyone's favorite new manga in Shonen Jump. And it's awesome, considering it's only got like 18 chapters. You have Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, which is really, really good. Like, so good. If you have not started Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It's very One Piece coded. It's made by someone who was previously a One Piece assistant. Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi is going to be like the next Black Clover in the sense of like, it's going to be top tier, but I don't ever think it's going to cross that threshold of like top 5 or top 3. Black Clover was always like at the top, but in the later parts of the manga, it never really failed. It never really managed to like stay up there with My Hero, success-wise. Story-wise, it's something different. And there's a ton of other manga. We have Witch Watch. Witch Watch is getting an anime. I always forget that that's coming out this spring. Astro Royale. A bunch of other series. So Jump has a ton of great manga right now. People just see that it doesn't have like, 5+ bangers and go, oh, well, Jump is dead, because they don't actually read the magazine. You have people who are One Piece fans and only read One Piece trying to talk about the state of Shonen Jump. When does the My Hero art book come out? I remember hearing about that vaguely. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you to Josh for the super chat earlier. Much appreciated. Again, if you aren't already, make sure to become a channel member. You get Dr. Stone loyalty badges. You get custom emojis, which I already have like 6 other emojis waiting. We just need more members. I have a Suika emoji. I have Black Clover emojis. All kinds of cool stuff. I have Bleach emojis. Dr. Stone, if I didn't say it already. Soul Eater emojis. You cannot get these on any other channel. They're custom made. So if you want custom emojis exclusive to this channel, if you want Dr. Stone loyalty badges, if you'd like to support the channel for just $3 a month and help support the editors, I cannot stress enough how important it is. JJK emojis? No, but I do have a Kagurabachi emoji. If I didn't post it already, I might switch it up. But I do have a Kagurabachi emoji. If it's not up, then it is in the backlog, already made. So, custom emojis, loyalty badges, and if you pick one of the high enough tiers, you get to pick in polls which manga/anime I cover in future videos and streams. So if you'd like to have an active say in the content on the channel, no Fire Force emoji? No, but I might change that. I do have a Soul Eater emoji. I have Excalibur saying, fool. But if you go to the channel right now, if you go to join, if you look at the first tier, you can see the emojis that are available. Anyway, again, cannot stress enough. Become a member today. Helps the channel, gives you the ability to vote for which series I cover next. And it's just a great way to let me know that you like the content. Any plans on streaming on Twitch again? If enough people want me to, I will. But I don't have any plans at the moment. No. I might start to down the line just to expand things a bit. But right now, there's no plans. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Look out for a new video this weekend, either tomorrow or Saturday. No stream again Sunday because we're waiting until February. There will be a stream Monday at 2 o'clock. I know Don is on break, but we're going to talk about Don. After that, we might do like a Shonen Jump stream. But video Saturday, stream Monday, and another video, 2 videos next week. Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Peace.